always during times like this, trying to find the blessing in disguise. And for me, kind of found some new catching drills, some things I want to work on. Since we've started playing games again, some kind of new things that I feel I can just help take my game to the next level, be a little bit more consistent. Obviously, offensively too. A lot of things I was working on all off season into spring training were kind of just scratching the surface, and in a way, this time has been a blessing in disguise, where I've gotten months more time to fine tune some things at the plate that I've been really working on for a long time, and at this point, definitely feeling really ready to go. When it comes to this whole COVID thing, it's new for everybody. Any sort of pandemic, any sort of thing like this, what are you supposed to do? And I think, sadly, like in a lot of situations in life where you haven't been through it, it takes failing at it to learn from it. And I obviously made a mistake, and I've learned from it. I'm not going to do that again. So I just think it just comes down to anything in life that you experience for the first time, and you might suck at it for a minute, but it's about who responds the quickest. And I have responded, and now I know what I got to do. So it's all behind me. I know the team knows that, and I'm just going to be one of the advocates to make sure it doesn't happen to anybody else, and we all stay safe and healthy. I had plenty of conversations with Jace, with AJ, and with all my teammates, and all the guys have my back, and I have their back, and I think they know that, especially now, that I would never put them in harm's way, and obviously needed to learn from something, and I have, and now it's up to me to say, hey, I was held accountable, now I need to hold other guys accountable, because where it all comes down to it, the most healthy team at the end of this year might end up being the world champ because they didn't get sick. I feel really, really good right now. I feel like I'm in a spot where I can be a really tough out, and that was, I think, the bottom line for what I wanted to work on this past offseason was I just wanted to be a very, very hard out, have a competitive at bat, find a way to get on base, have that 9 versus 1 mentality, get the next guy up. In this situation, if we got the DH now, if I'm hitting 9th, it's my job to get Tatis up, or whoever. We got a lot of awesome, incredible baseball players, and the way I see it, whoever's hitting behind me, it's my job to get that guy up. And Ting's made that pretty clear. It's hey, if you want to play in this team, you got to get on base. So when it's simply put, I got to get on base somehow. But yeah, things are pretty simple, from a mechanical standpoint, but it's about 99% mental adjustments. It's I work with Damian Easley every single day, Morgan Burkhart, and Ting, and a bunch of other guys on these things. And the one thing that they try and hold me accountable and the rest of the team accountable to is sticking to your plan, whatever your plan is that you've mapped out, that you've voiced to the rest of the coaching staff to help them hold you accountable. It's now up to you to do that on a daily basis, and it's a lot less mechanically focused drill work, and even in games and stuff. So I've got an approach that I'm ready to go execute, and I'm gonna ride or die with it. And because sometimes it's hard to stick with something when it doesn't work for a couple days, and you want to change. So I'm gonna stay pretty stubborn with this, and I do. I have a lot of high expectations and a lot of confidence coming into this year for it. It's been incredible. It's honestly, it's the least of our worries. Our pitching staff, from the starting rotation to the bullpen, I feel very confident that we've got one of the best, if not the best, complete staffs to start a season. Whether we got starters that can go 7, 8, 9 innings, and we've got relievers that can have an entire bullpen day and absolutely dominate guys. So the work that they've put in, whether they were here in San Diego, at home, or in Arizona, I know all of them were working their butts off, and every single guy has come into summer camp in excellent shape, and it's really shown in these games so far. He's just growing as a man, as a baseball player each and every day. He's never satisfied with wherever he's at. He had an outstanding rookie season, but I know the goals that he has for himself and for this team, and how he wants to be able to lead this team as, if not the ace, as one of our 5 aces, because I love all of our guys. But what he's fine tuning that curveball. He obviously has that elite fastball command and that changeup that we all know about, but I just think he's kind of growing into himself as a man, and he's in outstanding physical shape. I thought he looked taller. I don't know if you grow at that age, but he just looks like he just looks like a grown man that is only in his sophomore season, and I've got pretty high expectations for him as well. I think there's definitely some sort of edge that no one's ever had to experience, because when there's 60 games left in a season, there's a lot of wear and tear on a lot of arms. They've already played 100 games, so it's going to be different in the sense where it's like, hey man, like you're definitely not going to be afraid to wear the bullpen out a little bit, or even wear some other arms out, just because it's the total mileage is going to be significantly less. Also, that could be wrong. I don't know. Whoever figures out that really wise way of doing this, where given somebody getting, if someone gets sick, if a starter gets sick the day before their start, I'd like to think that we have a pretty significant advantage knowing that we got a lot of bullpen arms, that we don't even need a starter for the day. We could throw out 9 different dudes and throw it all, based off matchups or whatnot. Even if it's not matchups, I love our arms. So I think we definitely, given the depth of our bullpen and our rotation and all these young guys, if things hit the fan and things went really, really wrong, we've got a lot of really, really good young guys who, don't even have any time in the big leagues, that I'd be like, here we go. We're going to win this game with you today. So I love the depth, and I think that's going to be a key for us. In-game strategy definitely does change. It's going to be extra emphasis on communication with myself, the pitcher, with Larry, with Ting, with Fritzy, with whoever's involved in the pitcher catcher relationship. There's going to be a lot of conversations, because it's like, hey, Patty might go out one day and he just doesn't have it. If he doesn't have his fastball command, the changeup's not there. For whatever reason, things happen. We're human. It's like, hey, instead of like during the season, we got to get Patty through 6, through 7 to save the bullpen. It's kind of like maybe, there might be a time where we got to get this guy through 3, because we've got 7 bullpen arms waiting to come clean it up. Or we got someone that's in the bullpen that could be a long guy that day that might have it better, where we piggyback him and he goes 3 or 4 and then get to the bullpen. There's a lot more things where arms are going to be fresher for the majority of the time, just because it's only 60 games. Yeah, I've been the player rep for basically my whole career now, and it's been it's quite the honor. I want the best for all my teammates. I know the more conversations I have, especially during these past negotiations, have been good life lessons for me, because I didn't necessarily know the details of how and why we do some of these things. And a lot of guys they talk about the guys that came before us, the guys that had to grind like we have grinded throughout this whole process to look out for the future of this game. And so, when it all came down to it, it's not about me. It's not about even just the Padres. It's not about even just the 2020 season. It's about the future of this game and the sport that we love. And, the guys, the Ryan Weathers coming up, the Mackenzie Gores, like, they deserve to have, the Union, the league be where we are, where we feel very proud of where we are, and we don't want to take any steps backwards. So I've learned a lot, and I've grown with, had a lot of awesome relationships that I've built because of that with other reps on other teams and throughout the league. And it is a pretty awesome fraternity of players, and I feel very proud to be that voice for the Padres. And I can and it helps me understand my teammates even more too, when I got to listen to at least 25 to maybe 60 guys at times to hear him out. And everybody's got, when it comes down to it, everybody's saying the same thing for the most part in a different way. And it was kind of fun to break that down and just try and send some clarity to everybody. And I couldn't be more proud of how it ended up turning out. And, I'm just chomping at the bit so we can get this game 1 in and we can finish the season strong.